Good evening, and welcome to Ask the Unicorn. I'm Ahura Z, your host. I will be the one answering your questions because I'm the unicorn. All right, let's go ahead and get started with your question. Wait. Actually, before you do that, I have something to say. We went to I've been plugging, I guess you can call it that, Jewel of India. Well, we went to Jewel of India for my wife's birthday celebration, and it was a lot of fun. They really did some wonderful things there. I have not danced so much in a couple of years, and yes, I did feel it the next morning, actually later that evening. So I highly recommend that you hold your parties there if you can. All right, without further ado, as a telepath, you probably see a lot of upsetting and bad stuff. Caring individual has to be able to understand what has happened in order to help. But how do you keep it from bothering you? I just do. It's really quite simple. I can't help anyone if I'm reacting to emotional things, or if I'm having an emotional response. Remember, as a telepath, not only does the problem, when the problem is put before me, the answer comes immediately. So if someone that you go to ever tells you, well, you have this problem, but I don't know what to do about it, then they're not really saying a problem. What they're doing is somehow just kind of misreading. Whenever there is a problem that is set before me, the solution is always there. However, to become emotional about it in any way, shape, or form is actually a waste of energy and a waste of time. So what I do is I look at things from a perspective. And yes, I have seen a lot of very ugly things. Not only have I seen a lot of ugly things, I've also experienced a lot of ugly things. And perhaps all of that experience is what enables me to look at things very objectively, or enables me to not only understand, but find the proper solution to whatever problem they're having. Now, of course, I am the epitome of caring and kindness. But remember, caring has absolutely nothing to do with emotions. Kindness has nothing to do with emotions. You can't serve or help anyone. You can't protect anyone if you're having an emotional outburst, and telling people things like, oh, I'm so worried about you only because I care, because I saw that didn't help anything. No, you know what you do if you really care about the person? Then put some logic into the problem or into the solution. Put some logic there. And logic is the total absence of emotions. Remember, emotions cause you to go left, right, up, down. Logic is taking in consideration every single thing that has happened or is about to happen, and then taking it right to the middle, looking at all options, and then picking that option that is going to best serve the sense of the common good. So I choose to look at it that way. Yes, I can hear a lot of things. I can hear good things as well. It's interesting how humanity always likes to focus on the bad things in television and radio and everything. What is a conflict? What is the bad thing that is about to happen, or the bad thing that did happen? It's very interesting that even our news media never really focuses on those things of a positive nature. And if they do, it's more like, especially here, somebody painted yet another lobster painting, or there's a new lighthouse painting, or stuff like that. And that's not really positive. That's more repetitive. Positive is when someone is out trying to make a difference, or making a difference, and it's not making a difference in the way that is, the usual thing. You watered your lawn today. Yet another woman has decided that we should choose another color for in fighting breast cancer. I'm all for that. But, the whole pink thing makes it more of a fad and doesn't really address the problem. So did all the ribbons. There have been so many ribbons. I mean, I can't even wear my favorite color without it meaning something. So I stay out of the emotional department. I really don't care what a person feels or thinks emotionally, because it doesn't do any good for anyone. So it's best for me as a servant of the universe to look past all of that to see the goal. And the goal is always to help. Now, some people cry, and they cry a lot, and some people don't cry so much, and they may keep things bottled up inside them. That's not a solution. Express yourself. Use your words. If you can't use your words and something hurts really bad, then fine, cry. And I am always the first person there, which is why I have these big shoulders. They work. But remember, if you see bad things, understand that you have to move ahead and see the light. You can't do that crying. It will blind you, particularly women. All right, do I always get an answer to a problem? Yes. What if you see something awful that's about to happen to someone? If you can't do anything about it, shut up. You don't go run and tell them, oh, I saw something awful that's about to happen to you. Really? Really? All that does is exacerbate the problem. It just causes more trouble. If I see something awful that's about to happen to someone, remember, I'm a telepath. I also see the solution. Now, the person doesn't always listen to the solution, and sometimes the solution may not be something that they like. The universe is hardly ever very convenient. But when the solution does come, I offer it to them. It's up to that person to decide whether or not they're going to follow it. I would say about 6 times out of 10, 6 or 7, maybe 7 sometimes, they do, and it winds up okay. The ones that do not follow the solution usually come back to me and say, you know, you told me to do this and I didn't do it and you were right. And what am I supposed to say? I usually just say, duh. Remember, telepath? Whether you believe in me or not is irrelevant. So, one thing, you don't go to someone when you saw something awful happen to them in a dream. How stupid is that? And, you know, I really have to say that's stupid. You can't do anything about it. They don't know what it means. You don't know what it means. So it's best for you to shut up. Or go seek someone like myself. You know, there are a lot of very noteworthy dream interpreters. Find one. Find out what it really means before you go to, you know, to this person and say, hey, I saw your leg get chopped off in a dream. That's amazing. If you can't interpret the dream properly, then shut up. Go to someone who can. That's how I feel about that. Where do visions come from? The universe? You know, if it's a vision, it usually comes from the part of your mind that is capable of processing that vision. And it comes from the middle of the universe. You can call it whatever you'd like. I'm not going to say that it comes from cabbage leaves or birds and bees. But what I will say is that vision comes from where vision comes from. Everything started with a vision. Everything that there is, even this viewing apparatus that you're staring into, came from someone's vision. And no, it wasn't a blip in their head caused by a sandwich. It was actually something that came from the core of them, that they were able to pluck right out of the universe. Remember, these things are constantly moving around us. Energy is always looking for a way to form itself. It is always seeking someone that will be able to take it, process it, and manifest it. And maybe these people, certain people are evolved enough that they can understand, process, and manifest. So when I see a vision, and I do all the time because it's just the state of being, my job is to try to navigate through things. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it does not. But then I find solutions. It is my goal to be a living solution to all people. And it should be your goal as well. That way, not only are you a solution to yourself, but a solution to others. So, I guess the proper question would be, we know the vision comes from all over the place. How do I translate them? What is it about a particular vision and me being able to see it that I can do something about? Take your time. Don't get emotional. Take a deep breath. Think about what it is that you've actually seen. And step by step, if it needs to be manifest, then manifest it. If it needs to be changed, find a way to change it. Now, in my dream class, I've taught people that if you see something very bad that's in a dream, you need to think about the possibility and the plausibility of things happening, even the probability. If you're being chased by a monster and you happen to be wearing a blue dress, that's a blue dress that you actually have in your wardrobe, my suggestion would be for you to what? Get rid of the blue dress. It's really quite simple. Amazing that people don't really think that way. You know, the moment that you change anything in a dream, you change the possibility of it happening. If something else may happen, but you do indeed change the possibility, even if you start with something small. Like instead of picking up the apple with your left hand, pick it up with your right hand. If you can remember that. That's the trick about vision. Remember, vision is unformed. It is therefore vision. It does not become in form until it's made manifest in one way or another. So you really have to think about the manifestation of the vision, not necessarily the vision itself. Do you understand? Yeah, you're all going, okay, but you really have to go past the effect. Remember, if you have a vision that you got fired from your job, and the day before you had an argument with your boss, that's not necessarily a vision. That's something that could happen. You know, what you need to do is find a way to smooth it over. Go to your boss and say, look, you know, I was out of sorts yesterday. I apologize. It won't hurt you, for goodness sake. You know, well, no, I'm not going to apologize because please. Really, it's your boss. And your boss really doesn't care. He can go find someone else to argue with, and then you'll be out of a job. Plain and simple. You don't have to give anything. All you really have to do is just stop for a moment and think about the logic of, well, if I get fired from this job, then, you know, I really have a problem. So let me try to save it. And, you know, I learned that lesson years and years ago. And you're speaking to someone who couldn't keep a job for more than 2 weeks. Years and years ago, my teacher told me, you know, you were to hold a job, shut your mouth. And even then, if you think somebody else is wrong and they happen to be your boss, you be the first one to go and open the door. Common sense. So if I dreamt about something like that, I'd simply apply it. Not all dreams are visions. Some dreams are simply clearing, organizing. Anyway, let's move on. How do you approach a djinn or dragon if one appeared to you? That's gotta be Laura. Okay. You know, if one appeared to you, you probably wouldn't really have to approach it, would you? I'm pretty sure it's really capable of approaching you, which it did. Best thing for you to do is just simply pay attention. But if one appears in front of you, again, think about why. And then, act accordingly. Don't insult it. All right. I have to further that. Listen, most of you really don't know what djinn are. And most of you have a wild idea of dragons, etc., you know, all those things. Because you don't understand them does not mean they don't exist. Because you've never seen them does not mean that they don't exist. Perhaps they exist in a way that you might be able to process them or understand them. So really just open your horizons. Open your mind. Are there bubble dragons or tickle dragons? Who is asking these questions? Bubble dragons? Tickle dragons? No. No. Not unless you're watching a cartoon. I know that some of my little friends, my little homies, watch Phineas and Ferb. There might be one on those. I've never seen a bubble dragon or a tickle dragon or any of those types of things, but I'm sure they do exist. Like I said, because I've never seen something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Okay, I can only tell you from my experience with those energies that they're not very tickly or bubbly. Which brings about something. And I hope my little friends are watching. Listen, when you do see something and you think it's a vision, it's all right to speak it. I spent much of my childhood trying to find ways to help without speaking about things. And you know, in this day and age, most of you are very, very open, and even some of your teachers and counselors are a little open. They might be dumb, but they're open. You see something, my suggestion is that, you know, you tell someone that you know that you can trust. Your parents, someone in the family, someone who's chosen to work with you specifically, or other people willing to be a part of your village that will cooperate. It's really important that you speak. And you know, I saw a lot as a child. And I very quickly learned that not everyone saw. So it was a little scary for me. But I learned to adapt. Most of my little homies, I know your parents, and I know that they will listen. Because remember, they are extraordinary, just like you. And if they don't listen to you or accuse you of being crazy, then they shall answer to me. Just kidding. But as far as the bubble dragons, tickle dragons, I don't know about those. Okay. Women manifest children into the world, but not without men. Does that mean that women are better at manifesting other things too? No, it does not. It means that they are suited to do certain things. They may, remember, you need the equation of both in order to manifest a child. I know that many have seen Jurassic Park and come up with their own theories, but in truth, we are humans and we therefore need two components in order to manifest children. So no, women do not manifest children all by themselves. They are suited. Now, as far as the art of manifestation, it still takes 1 and 1 in order to create 3, but it's of a higher regime, and you still need both components in order to manifest anything. So I can't even say that they're better. I can say that their job is different. Remember, we all like to believe that one is better than the other, and I'm not going to get into any of that. What I will do is this. We are equal, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Remember that. But when it comes to certain things, women are better equipped. We'll put it that way. You still need the male energy, no matter what it is that you are trying to manifest. And anyone who does not believe that is seriously deluding themselves. I know there are a lot of men's groups. I know that there are a lot of women's groups. Look at me. Really closely. Let me help you. I really don't care. You all can believe whatever you'd like. But you know what? When you get into these groups that are alienating the other side, it merely shows your fear. 1 and 1 make 3. That is the equation. It's not going to change because you want it to. It's not going to, oh, let's go ahead and accommodate these people because, you know, they don't like women or they don't like men. I don't care. And you know something? Neither does Mother Nature, and neither does Father Time, neither does the universe, God, or Goddess. Things are the way that they are. And you know, a lot of them are set in stone. Probably because they knew that we'd find a way to screw it up. So, no, women are not better. They are differently equipped. Men are not better. They are differently equipped. We are all equal. Remember that. I hope I've put that through to you properly. For those of you that think I'm a little scary, I'm sorry. But that's just the way that I am. For those of you that know me, you know exactly what I mean. For those of you that are new, remember, I do not like biased behavior of any kind. I have very much against it. So, don't ask me if someone is better. And again, for you people that believe that you're better, that's nice. Really nice. You can stand over there with the indigo and crystal kids and the diamond orb kids. Now, there's an energy that runs from my elbow to my fingertips at night when I'm trying to get to sleep. Any idea what that energy is? Yes. That particular energy is your body's kinetic energy that hasn't been used. Remember, we all get a certain amount of energy. And if you don't use all of that energy, your body probably won't let you sleep. It's called restlessness. And in many cases, it can come off as being a very strange energy that has very little to do with you necessarily. But it does have to do with perhaps there's a part of your body that is not being used enough so that you have a proper flow of energy. Now, for people that type a lot, you understand this. It usually results in something that is called a carpal tunnel, because you're using the same mechanism over and over and over again without taking in consideration the other parts of your body. It's kind of like the person that wants to work their left leg out, but not their right leg. You know, so you have to find a way to use the kinetic energy that you have. I know that the person that asked this question is very, very strong and very, very active. And you probably need to do a little bit more. Remember, where more is given, more is required. And I know that you've been trying to get in shape. My suggestion is for you to find a way to work the other parts of your body out. Do some other things, and you'll feel fine. You'll be able to sleep. Take into consideration also when something like that happens, it means that you're usually not drinking enough water. And yeah, that would fit you, wouldn't it? You know. Cue the phony English accent. You must make sure you're getting enough fluids and proper exercise. All of you that like to do the exercise with the tape, some of them are very, very good. I've seen some good ones like Mr. Billy Blanks, who did a lot and is doing a lot, although I would say the original Mr. Workout was Jack LaLanne. Yes, I'm dating myself. I really don't care, because that guy was Superman. Okay, so you can find these things, or you can go work out with someone who actually knows what they're doing. Now, I've seen some places down the street from us, who I shall not name, where I looked at the instructor, and the instructor had bat wings. That's not who you go to. Okay, you go to someone who's strong if you want to be strong. If you want to be slim, you know, really slim and trim and all that good stuff, you go to someone who's slim and trim. Myself, I'm not a slim and trim guy, but I'm very strong. And I'm healthy. And those of you that have seen me dance around on the dance floor know that my body is capable of doing a lot of things. And those of you that have ever seen me in competition or a skirmish know that I can handle myself. But go to someone who's actually capable of training you, okay? Not just because they have a sign up that says curves for women, or, you know, iron for men. Don't do that, okay? But that's what that is, really. The energy that you're experiencing is energy that's on the inside of your body, and you should probably do a little more. That is for everyone else. Remember, and I have to say it this way, medical science made up a disease that is called fibromyalgia, and they did it so that they can sell pharmaceuticals and drugs and things like that. Now the truth is that it translates to fibromyalgia, which is pretty much muscle pain. That's what it means. And if you get up off your case and do some exercise, yeah, it might hurt a little bit, but eventually it will stop hurting. You'll be able to exercise through it, and then your body will work fine. You'll have no more pain. How do dream catchers work? Well, dream catchers work in the way that they will catch those dreams that may be harmful to a certain person. But remember, in order for that dream catcher to work properly, there has to be something of the person in the dream catcher. In other words, the energy of the person in the dream catcher, so that the dream catcher knows whose dreams to filter. Now, it used to be just a little piece of hair, maybe a feather from a headdress, and some other articles, or even the person who made the dream catcher. And I do highly recommend that. If you're going to form a dream catcher, at least be involved in it in some way. If you can't be involved in it because you just lack that particular prowess, then find someone who's very, very good, and then let them know what you want. Okay? You have to understand that there are all kinds of dream catchers. There are dream catchers to block bad dreams. There are dream catchers to cause bad dreams. There are dream catchers to interfere with good dreams. And there are dream catchers to promote good dreams. You have to decide on what it is that you want. And if you want a dream catcher that's actually going to work in the way that it blocks your nightmares, remember, just buying it is never enough. Be involved in it. That is the right of all mysticism. You must be involved. It's great that you all think that you can go buy a crystal and that crystal has never been touched by someone who has bad intentions. That's awesome. But you know, think of all of the people that touched that crystal just before you did. You know, so you really have to think about what it is that you're doing. You think of all the people that have touched that dream catcher before you did. Okay? So you really have to give some thought to a dream catcher, and then it'll work. All right, can you really control your dreams? Yes. Now, to ask me how do you do it, you have to discipline yourself. You have to find a discipline that is going to not necessarily quiet completely your mind, but something that will organize your mind so that you have some say-so in the dream realm. Do you know that some of the same things that you can do in the physical realm, you can do in the dream realm, if you impress that kind of energy? Now, for me to explain all the disciplines that would take, that's going to take more than this hour that we have here. However, you all know that I teach classes. Now, for those of you that would just rather have the free information, thinking that I'm going to go into the deep rites of magic, and just because you don't want to pay for it, sorry, it takes a long time. But I can give you some simple steps. Think about what it is that you actually want to focus on that can cause absolutely no harm to anyone. As you sleep, or just before you get ready to sleep, count backwards from 10 to 1. Now, it helps if you have an aid. And one of the things that I teach my students in beginning dreams is that you find an apple. And an apple is something that everybody understands. Okay? And what you do, is I heard that. What you do is you look at that apple, you smell it. Don't eat it, though. You admire the color, how it feels. Make it tangible in your mind. And then, when you get ready to go to bed, put it down close to you, maybe on your nightstand. Look at it. Count backwards from 10 to 1. And then close your eyes, holding that image, and count backwards from 99 to 1. If you happen to fall asleep, fine. That's right. Now, when you're dreaming, see if you can actually find the apple. Now, the first couple of times it's not really going to work. You'll say, darn, I didn't find the apple. Or, darn, I was thinking about spaghetti. Or, darn, I just fell asleep, but I had a great night's sleep. Don't strain your brains. Don't make it a task. Relax. If you find the apple, this is what you don't want to do. Oh my God, it's the apple! Don't do that. Because if you do that, then you'll wind up getting kicked out by the dream keepers. What you do is you very relaxed, look over and you say, oh, there's the apple, and focus on it. See how long you can actually focus on it. And then, very slowly, very controlled, reach over and pick it up. If you can, take a bite of it and then put it right back. That's fine for the beginning. And then you get better and better. There are other disciplines that go with that in order to cause you to get better. But that's a good step. Now, remember, don't get all excited. Now, let me answer some of the other questions that are coming from the peripheral. Well, what if I see a picture of an apple? It's an apple. What if I see the word apple? Well, that's an apple. Does it always have to be a round red apple? Who told you it had to be red in the first place? I didn't say that it had to be red. It merely has to be a apple. And yes, a real apple that you hold in the physical realm. In the dream realm, it could be a lot of things that are apple. Even an Apple computer. Isn't that weird? But it just is that way. Who are the dream keepers? These are agents or principles that make sure that your dreams stay your dreams. Or make sure that you have passage into that particular realm. Everything has a principle. Sometimes they will see that it will benefit you the best by locking you out. Other times, you gain entrance. When you gain entrance, they monitor you to make sure you're not misbehaving. And guess what? Yelling and getting all excited because you know that you're dreaming is one of those things that can get you kicked right out because it will disturb the whole force. The ripple, you don't know how you affect other people. Even as we affect other people in the physical realm, so can we affect other people in the dream realm. Now, there are those people that like to be able to control their dreams in order to do things to other people. Eventually, listen really closely, you might think it's really cool and fun, but eventually you will get caught. The penalty will be severe. Just have to say that. There are people that have tried to use the dream realm as a bridge to the astral realm. Those are two separate realms. It doesn't work that way. If you're going to do something astrally, whether it's accidental or on purpose, remember, it is the astral realm. It is not a dream. Those are totally different rules. The dream realm is very, very safeguarded, so to speak. Even when a person has a nightmare, they're still safeguarded. You wake up, you're all scared, but it's the dream keepers that say, okay, that's enough, and they pull the plug. So let's call them principles, if you will. I call them dream keepers because they keep your dreams, and they are principles, and we do like to personify things. What is the difference between astral travel and soul travel? Can anyone learn how to do it? Yes, to both. The difference between astral travel is that it uses your astral body, which is meant to stay covering your body. Your soul travel has more to do with your mind intent. Remember, we have so many different types of minds and so many different types of bodies, and these are connected to different dimensions. The soul is something that encompasses all things. The astral body is an individual thing. When you're talking about your soul, you're talking about your soul in connection to the great soul, and therefore you can be anywhere at any time that soul is. So you never really leave anything. You merely go where you would like to be. And that could be anywhere. Now, as a telepath, I use a form of soul travel in order to look at people, in order to see what's going on with them on the other end of the world, and I don't have to go into a trance. I know there are people who like to go into a trance. That's nice. One of my predecessors, Edgar Casey, whose birthday is the same day as mine, would go into a trance, and he would actually put himself in such a deep trance that he wasn't aware of his body, but awful things would be done to him, just so it would satisfy those that wanted to know if he was really in a trance. Not that he could see what it is that he saw, but that he was really in a trance, which I think is just ridiculous. But I do not have to go into trances. I can see, and it's like being in a constant state of soul travel. When you're in a soul travel, you are aware of everything. Everything. Even your own body. You may not be able to keep up with everything, which is why usually it is best to be led on a soul travel. But you will be okay. You haven't left anything. No part of your bodies have left you. In astral travel, you have to go into the astral realm. And that's a part of your body that goes into the astral realm. And unfortunately, there are very dangerous things in there. Things that are willing to take your body over, whether you like it or not. And if they can't take your body over, they will try to travel back with you. And most of you that have done astral traveling have already made agreements with those beings that are in the astral realm. And usually I have to separate them from you, or people like me have to separate them from you. One is dangerous. One is not. That is the biggest difference. Does my soul have a name? Yes, it does. Ahura Z, as far as I know. It's that simple. Now, let me ask that person a question. What good would that do you? Seriously. What can you do with it? And then, why would you want someone to know your soul's name on the internet? Or any place else? That's a private experience. Okay. How do you send love to another person from far away? What is the process? Well, it's simple. You know, there's so many different ways to do that. You can think about that person and think loving thoughts about them. And then use that part of your mind that a lot of people have locked away. Use your imagination and actually see it going from you like an arrow to that person that you're sending love to. Which is why it's very important to know who you're sending love to. Don't just send love to someone you've never known. Send love to someone you know. Send love to someone you've met. Send love to someone you know that needs that love. You're talking about the greatest principle ever. And it has its own power. You think loving thoughts, build them. Build them. See them getting bigger, and then see them going. The coolest thing about love, when you send love, you never lose any. It's really quite cool. The more love you send, the more love you get. So, by sending love, you're giving what you need the most. You really don't care how it gets there, or the process, as long as it gets there. See it going from you to that person, and them receiving it, and then leave it be. Okay, what exactly is bilocation? It is being in two places at the same time. One location, another location. The term is called bi, or two. And is it really possible to do? Yes. Is it like astral soul travel? No. You're literally in two places at the same time. Some people can bilocate and not know they're doing it. Sometimes a person bilocates and knows they're doing it, but then pretends they don't know. Bilocation is more than just possible. It's a reality. But you asked me what bilocation was. Being in two places at the same time. That's literally what it is. Now, I want to go back to the concept of love. You know, one of the most beautiful things that I've ever read in my life is a chapter on love by a writer called Khalil Gibran. It's in a book called The Prophet. If you really want a good way to think about love, a good way, read it. Read the chapter on love. Khalil Gibran's The Prophet. Is it possible to learn how to do bilocation? Yes, it is. Through discipline, through hard work, through really developing your mind and developing your spiritual energy. Yes, it is indeed possible to do that. And that's just the truth, but you'd have to dedicate your life to doing that. And there's where the problem comes in. Most people are not dedicated to anything. The moment that they see that it takes work, they will run for the hills. If they see that it doesn't jive with their schedule, they will run. If they see that it's inconvenient, they will run. Well, I'd like to be able to do it, but, people might think I'm weird. They will run. And you know something? When you say that you want to learn something that is a universal principle, you have to be able to forsake everything, if need be. You have to be able to take on that which other people run from, which causes another person to run screaming. And the only thing you're running from is you. It's the funny part. That's the only thing you're running from. You said that you wanted to do this. The person gave you the opportunity to do this, or you found the opportunity to do this, and then all of a sudden, because it begins to happen, you get scared. I've seen that happen so many times. I want to see ghosts, and you see one. Then what happens? You run. I really don't want to see that anymore, but you just told me you did. So think about what it is that you're asking. What happens if you do bilocate? What are you going to do with it? If you really want to do it, then be ready to take on the discipline. Be ready to take on the task. Be ready to confront yourself. Be ready to confront every single thing that you've ever stood for. And be ready to be confronted by others. Because they'll think you crazy. They'll think whatever they have to think. But if you're bilocating, you really shouldn't be concerned. Should you? It's kind of like when people say, well, I don't really believe that you're a telepath. And I look at them and I say so. Well, can you prove it to me? I probably could, but I won't. Only because I know that it will make you very angry. So when it comes to things like that, understand, any goal that you want takes dedication. It doesn't matter what that goal is. It will take dedication. You have to be willing to dedicate yourself. Not part-time, full-time. Make that your goal in life. And even if you were to bilocate once and then turn and look at yourself, you will have accomplished that goal. Okay. Do angels have their own language? Yes. Is there only one? No. There's not only one language in humanity. What makes you think they're any less than we are? They do have language. That language can be understood by both men and angels. It is a universal language. It's a language that can be understood by all living things. In many cases, even those things that we call inanimate. There's no one type of angel. Oh, and by the way, they really do have genitalia. I don't know where that came from. If there's a male angel, it's a male angel if they decide to take on a body. If they're a female angel, they're a female angel if they decide to take on a body. That is the way that it is. In this physical realm, that is how we are. Okay? So all of those little myths, well, they really don't have this or that because they're angels. What a load. Really. Seriously. I mean, remember, you have to remain grounded if you're going to be spiritual. And understand that there are a lot of things that have been written that are kind of contradictory. Well, because if they didn't have a genitalia, then what made them a guy? Or what made them a girl? And why is this one's name Gabriel? And why is this one's name Ariel? I mean, why not just be angel? And I would also believe that God and Goddess are way more inventive than just to send a Barbie doll or a Ken doll. They come in all shapes and sizes, colors, looks, just like their languages do. It's we that concentrate on our differences. What will happen if I stare at myself in the mirror and say, I love you for a half an hour every day? Then in your mind, you will hear yourself saying that. It will become a part of you eventually. Hopefully. That would be the goal. But if you're going to say, I love you, to yourself, think about what that means. I mean, if you have to stand in the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself, then obviously you don't. So you have to think about why you don't. And then you've got to find something to love about you and about life and about others. And then it would be far better for you to go and give love. I know that in many airy-fairy books that is a remedy. And if it helps you, fine. But think about what love is. And then prove to yourself that you love yourself. It's not enough just to say it. People say it all the time. Do you mean that? And if you mean it, then get out of the mirror. This is what happens if you stand in front of a mirror for a half an hour every day and tell yourself that you love you. All you will hear is, I love you. What else do you need to hear? Go talk to someone. And then find out what love is. Then you will be able to tell yourself you love you. Because then you won't really be trying to convince yourself. If you have to stand anywhere and tell yourself for a half an hour that you like yourself or that you love yourself, it is obvious you do not, and you are trying to convince yourself. Stop it. Go give love. That's kind of why people have pets, I think. It's also why people go out and get to know people. It is also why people find something that they truly love to do and then let themselves do it. That's how you say it. You know, find something you really love to do and do that for half an hour. Then you're proving to yourself that you love you. But technically, if you said I love you, all you'd hear is I love you. And then no matter what, you'd run around telling yourself, I love you, I love you, I love you. But you will have no depth. Find out what love is. And once you've done that, then tell yourself that you love you. And you don't need a mirror for that. Because if you're looking in the mirror, it means there's something you don't like there that you're looking at. Believe me, I'm speaking from experience. There was a time that I did not like myself. And I found it very difficult to look into the mirror. But once I corrected that thing, I didn't think about it anymore. We all go through things. And you don't need a reason to look at yourself and say you love you. You can always see yourself. Look at someone else. Look into someone else's eyes. You'll see yourself. Look at what you're doing. You'll see yourself. Be who you are. You will see yourself. Take a good look at depictions of Jesus. Mary, Joan of Arc, Krishna, all of those people. You will see yourself somewhere. Whenever something great is being done and it stirs you on the inside, you are seeing yourself. When you go see a movie and it chokes you up because it's so beautiful, you are seeing yourself. Go look at the waves on the beach. There you are. Go to a bread store where you can smell the bread and it just makes you feel so great. You're seeing yourself. Remember, yourself is more than what you look like. But if you're standing in a physical mirror telling yourself I love you, you're only trying to convince yourself that you love what you see in the mirror and not what you see inside. Not what you see in the real mirror. Be brave enough to do that. Then you will have stepped on the spiritual path. That's what will happen. Now, I'm getting to the part where I say things to my homies. they were all at the celebration at Jewel of India, and it was really cool. They all danced up a storm and all that good stuff, and it was fine. But I'd like to say to you all, it's probably your bedtime. All of you children, little children, you know, Risberas, Browns, extended Browns, those that are on their way, the Lipton, there's a little girl who we call Teresasaurus Rex, and all the other children, you all know who you are, and you know I care for you greatly, so go to bed. Now, I'll answer one more question here. Other than beef jerky, what can I eat to keep myself grounded? You know, I really like lentils. They're kind of like a superfood to me. They get rid of all of the haze. You might try that. There's some lentil recipes. If you can't find one, I will be very happy to furnish you with one. That works anytime and every time. Coffee is also a good grounding agent, by the way. Now, remember, I do teach classes. You all know that. I've said it many, many times. And you can go to www.unicorn-cove.com. And again, listen, I don't teach for free. I do the show for free. Because I'll give you a little bit and I'll answer your questions. But if you really want to learn some things, you really are interested in learning, the reason that I charge for these classes is this is not my hobby. This is my life's work. You know? And all of you that love the show, great. If you make donations, I will be able to continue doing this. Because I really enjoy doing the show. I'm sorry Charlie's not here. She's not feeling well. She's had a lot of turmoil in her family, so we all would like to send good thoughts to her. Now, you can watch Ask the Unicorn every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on www.unicornnettv.com. You can tell your friends, for all of you that are already watching, tell your friends. The more people that we can get watching this, the better. Then everybody can learn some things. I will always do my best to make sure that you are getting real knowledge and that you're getting knowledge that you will be able to incorporate into your everyday life. Now, I'm just finishing up my book for those of you that are going to be looking for it. It is called The Way of the Unicorn. And we're just finishing it up, and it will be on sale soon. For those of you that would like to be able to know where you can buy it, you can contact us, and we'll get you one. Oh, by the way, that's unicovianettv.com. Scenario wrote nettv.com. Anyway, I hope you all have enjoyed tonight's show. I look forward to seeing you all next week. And you all know who you are, and I love you all. Namaste.